Welcome, everyone. Episode 648 of the Black Brain Trust, the Sapio-Males Guide to the Galaxy, Unrequited. Love. This is my jam right here, man. So, we're going to talk a little bit about what that is. Kind of dovetail off of infatuation, but something else. Something that we're all familiar with. And I'll kind of preface it a bit, and then I got some quotes I'll pull up, and yeah, we'll kind of dig through some quotes here. Now, I first must start off my sincerest apologies. Um, um, I had two live streams scheduled today. One, I totally forgot Super Bowl was today. So consequently, I also forgot family commitments, and then I also forgot that my daughter does not have school tomorrow. So, I've been so my head was plugged into like work and business stuff that I spaced on today. So my sincerest apologies, you guys. Given that my daughter's not in school tomorrow, she's probably gonna sleep till like 11. So we'll chop it up tomorrow during the early and midday. Given that my baby cakes is gonna just be chilling at well, she goes to school from home, so of course she's gonna be chilling at home, but there's no school, so she's a night owl. She'll I'll knock out before she does tonight. Let's just put it like that. Okay. So what are we talking about, man? Unrequited love. I would say that our earliest experiences of something like this would be when you were young, and let's just say back maybe third, fourth grade or something like that, fifth grade, and you crushed on someone. Whether you're a dude and you crushed on a chick, or a chick and you crushed on a dude, you crushed on someone, right? But they didn't crush back. And you had sort of like this kind of fixation on this other person, and they were kind of oblivious to your existence. Um, that's basically what our earliest instances of unrequited love are, or in a more sort of let's just say damaging or dysfunctional sense, or or angle. It's when you know you don't get you love your parent, but your parent is kind of indifferent to you, right? For whatever reason. I don't want to delve into that side of it too much, but those are the two earliest instances of experiencing um, unrequited love. Okay. Um, for those that don't know, it's essentially just defined as love that's one-sided, or is not openly reciprocated or understood as such by the beloved, right? So you kind of are loving with like your whole heart, and the other person, they may care for you, but they're not doing the most like you are, right? And that's unrequited. Now, let's see here. Like I said, I don't want to. We can all sort of agree on the various ways how that could manifest. So let's just say in the home. Like I said, I don't want to go too far there, right? But let's just kind of put it on our brains, like, okay, in the home environment, how could this manifest? Think about the myriad of ways in the home, whether it be um, son to father, son to mother, daughter to father, daughter to mother. Okay, so just think about, or I mean, you could even make it more interesting, right? And then now you have sibling rivalry involved in that dynamic if there's multiple children. And yeah, like I said, I'll just paint that picture there, but I don't want to make that the sort of like the foundation of where I want to go with this. I'm thinking more along the lines of like relationships. Um, let's see. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, I'm thinking in terms of more relationships, like unrequited love in that sense. Now, the interesting thing here is the markings of that possibly have come from the home, right? Because there is sort of like if there's a functional upbringing, then children are raised to they have a healthy understanding of what love is, right? So that means that they'll be able to recognize when someone is not treating them the way they're treating the person, right? There's a sort of golden rule principle, right? And so if you had, sort of like a balanced, healthy upbringing. I mean, no one's homes are completely perfect, but I'm just saying, a balanced, healthy upbringing, you'll recognize these things because you saw how things worked in the home. So when you get out in the real world, when things don't quite align, you'll instantly recognize them. When that's not the case, then what happens is that transfers out into the real world. And then that's where we get into school age. Like I said, your first experiences with having this type of feeling for someone, but it's outside of the home, right? However, the very thing that takes place in the home is something that you now are going to intrinsically do in the real world. Okay. And so that's where we can start to really see as you trace it from school age, and then we start to go into teenage, right? Because now they're there's a good possibility sexual activity is starting to come into play, right? And because now we have the sexual activity that's coming into play, we now have the imprintation. You've heard the term, the imprint, right? Now we're putting a stamp. We're putting a stamp on this dysfunctional way we choose, right? Where we choose the things that are bad for us. Because that see, this is the reason why I like to do these live streams the way I do them with the terms that I use, because the terms accurately indicate what's taking place. So when we talk about, well, you okay. So let me kind of contextualize it. So you'll hear what's the trope? What's the common trope? Okay, well you chose wrong. You chose wrong. Question: why did you choose wrong? You ever thought about that? You ever think about why you always choose wrong? Could this propensity for unrequited love have something to do with that? Where you're constantly seeking out something that's not going to give you equal exchange, where you're always at a deficit because you give more. And because of this, you put yourself in positions where you're at a deficit. Perhaps. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, to me, it explains a lot. In my head, anyway. It explains a lot. You know, well, what there's a crescendo effect. So you had to get to a point where you're perpetually choosing shit that's there's a reason for that. And I think it has something to do with unrequited love. The quotes that I'm going to read are quite interesting with regards to it. Sheila E., The Quiet Storm. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let me know if the music is a little too loud. And I have like two different or three different sets of headphones depending on which one decides it wants to work. And I don't know if that has something to do with my head, but sometimes it's louder in ones than the others. So let me know if it's, but I need to like listen to something in order for me to kind of do this stream of consciousness talking thing. All right. So we've got some quotes here. Let's take a look. The only love that lasts is unrequited love. Yikes. Huh. Gosh. Fuck. Okay. I'm trying to dissect that one, and it's just really, that's just like a pill you have to swallow, I guess. Believe it or not, but one sided love is always true and pure. Jesus Christ. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand that. I choose to love you in silence because in silence I feel no rejection. Okay, I can understand that one. That one I can understand. If they want you in their life, they'll put you there. You shouldn't have to fight for a spot. That I agree with. That's how I roll, actually. That I definitely agree with. I mean, uh, there's something to be said. Well, see, it says, okay, on to the next quote, because I'll go down a damn slippery slope on that one. But for the most part, I agree with that one. I'm not sure what scares me more, that you will never start loving me or that I will never stop loving you. Hmm. The first love is almost always unrequited. What was I just saying? Notice it says the quote says almost. Ideally, 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 ideally. Okay. Ideally, if well, how do I? I'm going to just say this. I'll speak from the perspective of a father who has a daughter. Um, I I have to be her first imprint, right? So her first love cannot be unrequited. It has to come from me, and it has to be true and pure, right? That way, she's more able to better recognize qualities and characteristics in a male, and because she's seeking out the right qualities and characteristics vis-a-vis, he will recognize her. As they say, like energies attract. So there is a bit of a method to the madness here, and as parents, we have to really be diligent. You never stop loving someone. You learn to live without them. Ooh. Wow, yeah, I could tell you about that one. I could definitely tell you about that one. 6 plus years, right? I don't have a choice. I've had to. I've had to learn to live without her. It hurts to know that you will never look at me the way I look at you. Shit. I told you guys these quotes are fucking brutal, man. Jesus Christ. You are the love that came without warning. You had my heart before I could say no. Hmm. I just had a thought. Hold on. Yikes. I have a feeling, and maybe this is the reason why the thought triggered into my head, but I have a feeling that the things that I'm saying are probably striking a chord with a lot of people that are listening. Just a guess. Just a guess. Sometimes the person you fall for isn't ready to catch you. Hmm. All right, let me do this. Before I continue on with some quotes, let me check the chat, make sure because I don't even know how long I've been rambling. Let me see here. How long have I been going? 20 minutes. Okay, 12 people. Let's see who's in here. All right, Sheila. Okay, what's going on? There is no music. If there is, you can't hear it. No. Hold on. Shit. This can't. Fucking A. Are you serious? No. Really? You couldn't hear it? Oh, God. Oh, I try so hard. Oh, God. All right. So here's what this means. That means that since there was no music, or I guess you can't hear it, then that means that at the beginning of this video, there's like maybe 3 or 4 minutes of dead air or something rather. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Okay. Do you guys hear it now? There you go. See, you can... Oh, fuck. This is terrible. Do it again. Sheila, the moment's passed. It's almost like, you know, like a chick gives you the sign and you totally talk yourself out of it. That's kind of what this feels like right now. Oh, fuck. Don't beat yourself up, Ulysses. You're gonna get it together one of these days. Okay. All right. Let me get a woosah moment here. I gotta collect myself. Jesus Christ. Why? I always have trouble with this shit. Bear with me, you guys. It's my brain. I just gotta get it all back together. All right. Let's see. I cannot fathom congratulating you on finding love when I'm not the giver of that love. Shit. One-sided love. No call, no messages, nothing, but there is someone who is thinking of you every second. Okay, just real quick, not to digress. Do you see how me reading this stuff with this music in the background kind of makes it all? And that's what I mean. The first 20 minutes just it didn't happen. Fuck. I'm so disappointed. Anyway. As soon as I wake up, I check my phone, hoping there's a message from you. Those eyes that have been my sun, it pains to see them shining for another. You know, I keep reading these expecting that I'm gonna get some sort of positive something, and every time it's like I keep getting this this heart, this you kind of feel it in your chest a little bit, where it's just like, ouch. And I think that's because these things are all relatable. You know, I think these things are relatable. I think we've all experienced these things. So every time I read some different variation of it, it's like a needle poking you in a different part of your body, right? It's the same sensation, just in a different area. Yeah. Oh, I love this one. I love this one. Holy shit. I love this one. Hold on. Technically, I'm single, but my heart is taken by someone I can't call my own. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've heard that one before. Not the other part, just the technically I'm single. Gotta love it. My heart is hollow, and only you can fill it, yet it remains empty. My life has never been the same since I met you. Oh, dude, I'm having a... How many more of these should I read? Jesus Christ, they're not going to get any better. I think you guys are kind of familiar with what, at this point, what I'm getting at in terms of unrequited love, what that shit is. Because damn, I'm gonna just keep reading it, and we're just gonna keep filling these damn needle pokes. Oh shit! All right. Okay, you guys. Okay, I've literally have been on like a roller coaster of emotions here because the sheer disappointment that the music wasn't in the background when I started this, and then yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. I need some weed. Oh my god. All right. We are gonna get this together. One of these days, I'm gonna master the streaming shit. If it kills me. For now, though, I need some weed. Oh my god. And I'm gonna drop the link. If you ladies would like to join conversation, fellas, anybody, help me. Hold on. Oh shit. Unbelievable. You guys watch the Super Bowl? Here you go. There is said link. I will be right back. You guys go ahead and rock out for a few. And yeah, we'll chop it up. Okay, I'm back. All right, got my head together. All right, so let's see, no one's going to come. So the live she's fine. Hey, real life, you there?
Complex, yes, I'm here. How are you?
Hey, good. How you doing? Welcome. Thanks for
Good,
joining.
yeah, it's been a while. How's everything?
Oh, not too bad. Considering I just completely botched the first part of this goddamn live stream.
Nah, you're good. That's actually why I jumped up because when I tuned in, I heard you reading something and it sounded interesting, but I wasn't sure if it was it an original piece? Were you reading somebody else's work? And I don't believe in botching. I believe that like if you felt compelled to read something, or if you felt compelled to share something, it didn't work out quite that way. Sometimes I think that's a kind of a reflection.
No. Do you hear the music in the background?
Yes.
Okay, no, I botched that part.
Oh, right. Okay, you said
Yeah,
that
I
the music
screwed
wasn't
up on the
playing.
music. It
Okay.
was totally playing in my ears, and then I just asked. I was like, "Can you guys hear it?" And you're like, "No," and I was like, "Fuck."
Right. That's true. You did say that. I forgot.
Yeah, no, that's what I botched.
Yeah, that shit happens all the time. Last time I was live, and you figure we're like triple OGs at this point, man. I was talking for like a whole good 2 minutes, and I was like, "Hey, is the music too loud in the background?" Nobody answers me. I'm like, "Damn!"
Can
Not only
anybody
could
hear me?
they couldn't hear me or the music, so
Yeah,
shit
yeah. So I'm
happened.
like, "Can anybody hear me?" And then you're like, "Oh, god damn it!"
Right.
And then you totally just ran through, and like for me, it was. See, there was a song that I played at the beginning. Okay, I think this shit out. Right? I think the stuff out. So there's the subject matter, and then I was a DJ and stuff. So I just I always think of songs like songs will just come to my head that are related to something, right?
Yeah.
So there was a song I played at the beginning, and it kind of set the and just fuck. Anyway,
But I think though, real quick before you go on,
yeah,
I
what's up?
think that sometimes something could be perfectly timed in your head, but if it doesn't happen that way, then it just wasn't. And I know this sounds cliche, but it just wasn't meant to be that way.
Oh,
So you
look, let me
own
tell you
that.
something. No, in my head, it's a fucking failure, but it's okay because that's not the first time it's happened. And it has to do with me using multiple streaming things sometimes, and then the settings get off. And then my daughter was getting her Roblox on in here, so she was doing something different, and I just didn't check something before I went live, and that's all it was. Just me kicking my own ass. No worries.
So
Um,
that could be
I
the
do that.
reasoning, but that might not be the effect after the cause. So, I mean, if you want to attach those things, that's cool, but I don't necessarily look at it that way. But I hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look, I have a completely logical mind. I race go karts and shit. Everything is all math and numbers, right? So if you screw
That's
up,
exactly what I think about it, though. But go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, no. But so um, I was reading quotes about unrequited love. I'm not sure when you came in, um, but essentially, what I'm kind of I'm dovetailing this subject matter off of a live stream I did like a week ago. I think it was like on infatuation. Okay. And so what I was kind of speaking or referencing to there was that um, infatuation oftentimes is confused with love. It's just a short-lived, intense period of passion that you have for someone or something. Okay, that's the definition of what infatuation is, right?
Hmm.
And then there's unrequited love, which is it's an actual love feeling, right, for someone that's not reciprocated,
Hmm.
right? So that's kind of where we're at with this kind of, like I said, we kind of dovetailed into this now, right? So the quotes, which is what I was reading,
Hmm.
these are just quotes. When I do my Sapio live streams, depending on the subject matter, what I'll do is I'll either like read something. Um, yeah, at times I've read like poems or essays, and but oftentimes I'll read quotes because
Hmm.
quotes kind of they contextualize things, right? In a small, they're different words to contextualize the same idea, right? So you can get
Extract
different,
versus
right?
material. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I read quotes, and so
Understood.
that's what I was reading. They're just
Okay,
various quotes. Yeah.
got it.
So like, what do you, what I don't like. I guess my question would be like, what are your thoughts on unrequited love?
Okay. So much to say even before the question, but I'll say this. Let's go back to infatuation very briefly first before I tell you what I think about unrequited love. So I think that a lot of times personally, I've mistaken being in love with being infatuated, right? And it's not really easy for me to say. But I think that there have been times where I really thought, and I do care about the person or care about what's happened to them or what will happen to them and what has happened to them, but it's different than being in love, right? So, but there's this sort of like romanticized view on infatuation, right? But I think it really has a lot more to do with the connection that happens immediately that somebody wants to hold on to, even though the dream is dead. It's
And just real
onslaught.
quick, I think maybe last week sometime I did a Sapio live stream on romanticism. But go ahead.
Oh, I missed that. I missed a lot of y'all's lives recently, especially within
Yeah.
the past few months. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I came in several times to show some love on the one you did. That was like, I think it was about what, 2 weeks or something like that. That was good. I like that. But yeah, when it comes to those moment in times ones, I miss them a lot. But yeah, so and but that's good though because I think that it's helped me understand better what actual love is, right? So
Mhm.
and then it's different than just caring about people and not wishing bad and all this other stuff, right? So let's go to unrequited love. I wouldn't quite say I've ever really felt that, except maybe if I grabbed something when I was like in my early 20s. I had a situation where I was with a person, we had this thing going on, but it wasn't a relationship. We were just in the same space. He was a teacher of mine and like other things. So, but he was married. And I just thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So I felt really into him, right? But I
Mhm.
was not in love with him. I couldn't have been. We didn't know each other on that level well enough, but we knew each other well enough for me to know that I thought he was cool as fuck. So time goes on, and I look back on it and I'm like, wow, I felt so emotionally invested in it at that moment, but I look back at it now and it's nothing, right? And
Mhm.
let's hold that to side and let's hold that and put that right on top of something when you have something so nice, but then the thrill is gone again. You leave or you don't want it anymore, meaning me. And I look back on it like it's like garbage, something very valuable that is now, you have the discarded parts and you throw it away. Now,
Mhm.
that's not a cold hearted thing, although it sounds like that. But if you add the idea of just really truly caring and being a caring person with this idea of sharing that with somebody, with the idea of what's that thing that changes it? And now I'll ask you this question. What's that thing that changes all that stuff that I just mentioned into something that means being in love? So let's start with this. What is being in love?
Are you asking me
Yes.
what's being in love?
Yeah.
Let me get the right words to answer that. Um, uh, Being in love is existing in a state that the emotion of love produces.
So is
Now,
that a fluttery thing? Like, is that
that's
something
no,
like,
that's exactly what it is, right? So the thing about it is that um there there's what they call the honeymoon period,
yeah.
right? And so when the honeymoon, that state right there, okay, that's when the in love feeling starts to kind of subside, okay, and then what you're left with, if there is anything there, is a bond,
Uh-huh.
okay, and then because there's a bond there, there's intrinsic love there, right? So you just love the person.
Right.
Okay. There's no in love, fluttery feeling, infatuation, unrequited. See, you get where I'm going with this?
Yes.
There's all these other, and this is why what we do here with the sapiosexualism shit is we break all of this shit down. You got to intelligently understand ourselves as human beings.
Of course.
Okay. So, what are these myriad of emotions? What are these myriad of feelings, right? Like, I mean, I can tell you about it all because I think I've experienced the most brutal form of unrequited love.
Can you tell us about it?
I'm widowed.
Oh man, damn.
Right. So, yeah. Right. That's why I read some of them. I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like, Jesus, it's like needles, man, just poking you. Shit.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because what about the person that you love that you can't physically love them anymore? What
yeah,
about that?
yeah,
You know what I mean? But there's other forms, right? I even referenced like if you kind of in a dysfunctional home environment, you have children who seek love from a parent that doesn't necessarily return it,
yeah.
right? And if anything, it probably starts there, right? And then it becomes a habitual thing on the development of that child as they grow up. That's how they become entrained to seek love.
Hmm.
You get what I mean? Because it's starting with the parents. So it's sort of like their notion or idea of love is I want it from this person and I don't get it. So that means that when I go out, the way I understand this is there's someone I like and I have to like a person that doesn't like me because this is how I understand it.
Hmm.
And then it goes into adulthood. And then we start talking about choices, who we choose, right?
Hmm.
See, we always hear about like, well, you chose them, you chose them, you chose them. Let's trace it back. How did we get to choosing?
Hmm.
Right? Why? How come? How come? How come? How come the imprint is always the same,
Exactly,
seemingly?
exactly.
Why?
Right.
Just curious.
Hmm.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, well, you said it right there. What's formative will be comfortable. So it reminds me of this, right? First of all, I know it seems cliche, but I'm sorry for your loss. And like, I think that,
Thank you.
yeah, I think that it really kind of is illustrated in seeing children, right? So they will have some children that I've come across with have had the most abusive, just terrible existences with their parents, but they still rather be with them than some random stranger, right? They still rather be with what's familiar because I can't say because, but I think the idea there is that what set the tone for what a person can feel okay with is something that has to have familiarity as a basis, right?
Hmm.
Which does tie into what you were saying before. Like after all the flutters are gone, how much do you accept? How much do you love? How much do you still want to like, be cool with or allow you to be cool with whoever it is you're sharing space with, right? And that is
Hmm.
it. So if it's just that simple, right? If loving and being in love is just that much, like despite all the maybe slight, menial annoyances, how much do you really dig this person and how much do you know that they love you back? Right? Or how much comfort is involved in this situation with these two or three people, considering family, I'm saying. People. So familiarity, right? And it's kind of like it boils down to what I was thinking before. When I was a younger person, I used to think that I didn't have enough of an attention span to like be somewhere and be actually like in love. Like I was like, oh my gosh, what if there's something wrong? Because I felt like there would be things that would come up that I would immediately say, I don't want this, and just turn around and leave, which is true.
Hmm.
But it ended up not being true. And I thought maybe it was like this attention span thing or something like that. And this is coming from a situation where I don't feel like there was too much dysfunction in my formative years at all. Like maybe normal shit, but nothing crazy, right? So as I got older, I realized that there's really just certain things that a person will have as those things that help things feel familiar and comfortable. So comfort is really at the center of that. And I think that what's the first thing that goes with comfort? Familiarity, even if it's fucked up. But if it's
Right.
not,
I was gonna say because sometimes people find comfort in dysfunction,
sure.
and that's just kind of like another layer, right?
Right.
Um, you know, I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that in. I didn't mean to
No,
cut you off.
it was a good thing because it segues me into this. What if it's not dysfunctional, right? What if that comfort part is something real cool and just like real like, conducive to just like normal comfort in life and happiness and just regular health. Like then you
Yeah.
can look at it and say, all right, well that's something that I could run with and not have it be something to really kind of think about and wonder if it's going to consume me or not.
Yeah,
Well,
no, there's comfort. I mean, you seek. I mean, you seek your peace in your comfort, right? So for some, they need to have maybe more of a chaotic environment. My daughter just walked in. Hold on a second,
hey, okay.
babe. Babe, you close my door. Thank you. Huh? Yeah, yeah, babe, all the way. Oh my gosh. Oh, there she goes. All right. Um. Uh. Yeah. What I try to do is be mindful of like what I'm saying when I do these live streams because my
Well,
daughter's
yeah,
not. Yeah. Right. So
you know
she's
what I
in.
mean. Like that's a given. You should
Yeah. Yeah.
be
So I was like,
right.
yeah, I'm up it. And she walks in. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, do what you're doing. And because you were talking and she was in there just getting her blanket, and then yeah, the door was open. And, yeah.
Mhm.
So I totally had a point, and I completely lost it.
You were saying, so we were talking about what if what's familiar is not dysfunctional,
Oh
or
yeah, 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 yeah. I was gonna say, so um, I personally, um, there's a lot of things that like I do, right? In just terms of like work, like business stuff, my daughter and all that. So, in order for me to be functional, I need kind of like a peaceful existence, right?
mm-hmm.
you know, I need sort of like a peaceful existence, and if I'm going to be with someone, I need a peaceful coexistence. Okay, so that like that would be the only type of person I could form any kind of bond with, right? And I think again, it's the unrequited nature of things that has people like either aiming. I don't. How do I say this? It basically there's imbalances,
Mm-hmm.
so you can never get that true comfort,
Can you
right?
elaborate a little bit?
Because if you're seeking, okay, if what it is that if unrequited love is always the type of relationship environment you find yourself in, you'll never be in any kind of comfort.
I see what you're saying. Uh-huh.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I mean. It's sort of like when okay, we get to the point where in adult age, we're asking questions like, why do we repeatedly choose fill in the blank?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What you have to do in the tech or mechanics world, we call it lockout tagout, or we call it track and tracing, right? So what you do is we're going to reverse engineer the problem,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're doing in this conversation. We're actually reverse engineering the problem and going back to the source, right? And when we go back to the source, what we can see is there was an unrequited love situation that was going on.
Interesting.
Okay. And then we fast forward into the future, and like I said, you seek love in your parent that doesn't return it.
And let's flip that too with what if you're the one who is the person who's doled out the unrequited love part, right? So you can familiarize yourself with it if you've kind of touched it a little bit, which we're all gonna get that because we're always gonna have reflections to some extent, right? But like going back to the short attention span thing that I thought that I was experiencing that I was telling you about, right? That's kind of when it shows you because we're still gonna repeat patterns whether or not it hurts, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the hurt can come from I don't want to be here, bye. I don't want to be here, bye. So the constant doling out of unrequited love is also just as much, I think, it's not the same thing, right? But it's still something that you could ask yourself, well, why does this pattern keep repeating itself? Because as you said, patterns will repeat no matter
Mm-hmm.
what the situation is, right? So
Yeah.
I think this is a good way to sharpen oneself, though. And so that's the point I was trying to bring up earlier. Early in high school, I would say maybe like, mid high school was when I started to be concerned about the attention span thing. But as time went on, I realized, that wasn't really the issue. I'm not saying that, of course, everybody can argue, hey, I'm perfect. It's everybody else. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that when you look at something to say to yourself, my gosh, this could be a problem, And in this case, for me, it was, am I always going to have something that says to me, well, I'm okay, I'm good, I'm out, bye, right? So, in the sense of what we're speaking about, let's flip that on just like the mirror image of the person experiencing the unrequited love from the parent, right? Because
Mm.
that's certainly not my growing up. Certainly, my issue was more like being overly monitored, being overly loved, if that's a thing, right? And I don't mean in a bad way of like too much love. I mean,
Wait, you're saying
can I breathe?
someone over,
You
wait,
know,
you said over, you being overly, like,
not.
so,
I'm using it only in the language of what we're speaking of, but not. I don't
yeah,
think there's such a
but I'm
thing as
saying, is it
love.
the dudes were kind of loving on you more than you were returning it to them? Is that what you mean?
Later on, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Yes, but I'm speaking in the formative years. It's like, this idea of like the magnifying glass always on you. You know what I mean? Like, can I breathe? Can I have room to just be me without this idea of having to, be in the situation of like, this is what we expect. This is what we know. This is what we know you to be. It's suffocating, right? So I think what happens is that's sort of the polar opposite of the unrequited love with the parent thing. Not like it's bad or good. Let's just take all judgment out of it. It just is, right? So with the idea of the unrequited love parent, that's going to carry over in the way we're just talking. But let's look at the flip side. That's also a really uncomfortable feeling because you look at a person will have to look at themselves as, am I one person who can't really attach like that and can't just be okay in a situation? And so I
Well,
say all that to say,
mhm.
just
Well, I was gonna say, but even that, but that's the whole thing, right? Because there's a compatible person for that person. Okay,
oh, I agree.
there's right. See, so the, there's two parties here,
Yes.
right? If I don't have the type of feelings for you, right, that you have for me, then what I'm not going to do is drag you along, right? Because that's not fair to you,
Not at all.
right? You see, but I would also, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. Well, I'll put it to you like this.
Okay.
Um, I I don't I don't know if I've really dealt with an unrequited. You know what? No, it was no. That was a crush. That was just a crush. That was some stupid shit.
Exactly what I was saying
No,
about.
no, 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 no. Like literally, because I'm about to start laughing about it. Because actually, myself and maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago, Game Changer and I, we had kind of like a running joke about it. I used to have a crush on I don't know if I want to say her name. She's an actress, and she used to live by me. And I used to run into her. I would just randomly bump into her, and I'd be like, "Dude, why the fuck you say something, right?" And it would like eat me up. And I'd be thinking about like, dude, like you always run into this chick. Her name is Bianca Lawson. I don't know if you know who she is.
No, I don't.
Okay. I'm trying to think of something that she was in. But anyhow, I would always see her around, and it's like I used to see her when I was like on TV and shit. Like when I was like kind of younger, we're around the same age and shit. So I kind of like you kind of crush on girls and shit that you see on TV or whatever, right? But now here it is, we're in the real world, and I fucking go to the damn grocery store, and we're both like in the vegetable section or some shit. And I'm just like, bruh, like what the fuck, right? So after a while, man, it just kind of ate me up. Like, what, dude? Like, you got to do something, man. And basically, chicken shit. I didn't do anything. You know what I mean? And there was always this thing of like a wondering. Like I was always wondering, like, and it went on for a while actually, because it's like, what the fuck, dude? Why didn't you? It's not as if I didn't think I was doing I was doing good for myself. I made good money. I was making good money. So it wasn't like any sort of intimidation thing with regards to that. It was just like, all right, that's Bianca Lawson, right? And so yeah, long after when I kind of moved, and it was just sort of like, dude, why the fuck did you? You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where there was something there, on my end, and she's none the wiser.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know what I mean? It's just the
Which
weirdest
is
fucking.
different from unrequited, right? Like you
Huh?
said, that's
It,
different from
it's well, no, it's kind of it's well, it's the thing is that there is an object of affection, like even some of the quotes, right?
but
Well,
unrequited has to have the knowledge on the other side, you know?
not necessarily. It's just
Uh,
no,
I
it's just
disagree.
one
Go ahead.
sided. No, it's just one sided. So that even means that the other person may not even know.
The only way it could be one sided, okay, I see what you're saying there, but that would be more so like, I don't know, because the idea of unrequited has like a forlorn feeling to it. So even though I get what you're saying, I just would find it difficult for a person to say like it's unrequited if the other party isn't aware to say yes or no to it versus
Hmm.
I'm just not aware of it. So then it's an immediate no because of the non knowledge of it. You know
I'm
what I'm
gonna
saying?
read. There's a quote I'm gonna read you, and I
Go
want to get your take on it. But oh wait, here we go, and I didn't cue it up. All right, there we go.
ahead.
I'm a jazz dude on some of these a lot of times. Is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
All right, cool. So wait, what do you think about this one? Let's see here. What was the one I read? Oh, okay. I choose to love you in silence because in silence I feel no rejection.
Hmm.
What do you think about that one? If you're
Yeah.
loving someone in silence, right,
Mhm.
and you do so in silence because you don't want to feel rejection, that would imply that this other person is none the wiser.
Definitely. So
That's what I mean.
do you call that, would you call it, in that specific thing you just read, would you call that unrequited love?
No, I mean the quote. This is a quote regarding it. This is one expression of it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
For it's
asking you,
mhm.
do you call that unrequited love?
To love in silence, and as a
Of
way
not
of avoiding a rejection.
exactly right.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's really
That's
more so saying it's
mhm.
unrequited from the self perspective. Well, not saying you self, but I'm saying first person perspective versus the idea of the other. The other is by definition what makes it unrequited. It's like, I'm not giving this back to you. You can't not give something back that you're not aware of. And I get it. I mean, this might be semantics at this point, but the reason why I think it's important, not just to say, oh, I'm right. It's important because
Mhm.
there's the rejection factor there, which is exactly why the person is holding it back because they don't want that, right?
Yeah.
Versus, right, but then if you give it, if you just have it there and you lay it there and the person says yay or nay, then you can say it's unrequited because in the true literal sense of the word, it means I didn't give it
Well,
back.
let's
Oh,
do it
I'm
like let's do it like this, right? Let's do it like this. Okay.
okay.
You either have a one-way street or a two-way street.
Mhm.
If it's not a two-way street, it's a one-way street, and if it's a one-way street, it's unrequited. Okay. If
Well,
it's
I
two,
mean, if
if
you
it's
put it
two way,
that way, how do you argue with that? But go ahead.
no, I'm no. This is the brain trust. Like this is. Yeah, I'll tell you like this. For me, I this stuff is math to me.
But that's the thing. So let's take it math, right? You see, you can't just throw the word math out there and say, and like my intention is always not to disagree. It's just to kind of like,
No, it's not. It's not
hold
disagreeing.
on,
But what I'm saying is that here's what
let
you
me
can
say
do,
this.
right?
Hold on, slow down. You're moving too fast. We're not going to be able to get to this if we move too fast, right? If
Get to
it's
what?
math, excuse me,
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
get to clarity. So if it's math, right? The best thing about math is because you have the numbers there and you have both sides, right? There's always going to be two sides and polarity. This is exactly why if you're going to say something's math, you have to look at the other side. Unrequited, right? So we have to take out the un and look at requited. What does that mean? Returned, right? How do you return something that you know not exists? Let's start there.
Wait. No, why do we? No, see, that's the thing. Unrequited love is just that, right? And so, what I don't like to do is overcomplicate things, right? Because the
Oh, it's
reality,
not
the well,
overcomplicated.
hold on, let me respond, right? The
Mhm.
reason being is because people already don't understand these feelings as is. They don't like that. Like I'm trying to simplify it in
So
all
then simplify.
actuality. And that's why I'm saying, like, here's what you have. You have a one-way street because by definition, unrequited love is one-sided. And then you have a two-way street where the love is reciprocal, right? The feelings are reciprocated.
Mhm.
Right. See, and so and then coming from my own my own situation, right? Like I'm contextualizing it in such a way where like I don't really okay, we could go down the slippery slope of breaking down the word unrequited, but for what?
We have to.
No, actually we don't. There's a the unrequited love. See, this is what I mean. I want to simplify it
How best to simplify something than to look into the actual brass tacks of the word? I mean, that's the best place to start. The
because
math.
it's not really about the word so
It
much because
is, of course, it is. What?
no, it's actually no, it's about the emotive. It's not
But
about
the
the
word
word.
is
It's
representing that. So then use then if that's the case, then we should be using other words then, right? We
well
have to
no,
break
because
down what
here's the
we're
because
defining
once
as what
again,
we're saying conceptually.
if you start breaking down words, what happens is we're getting away from the origin of the emotive.
Absolutely not.
Okay, really?
Absolutely not. I find it to be the exact opposite. But go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay. Well, I don't know. These quotes are speaking otherwise, right?
What?
And the fact that I would let's just say that some of these quotes actually
On the
reflect
core?
my permanent state
Mm-hmm.
of unrequited love, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, that one way street used to be two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can tell you about both sides, and I'll tell you that if if we are to truly understand this, I mean, okay, let's just say this, right?
Mm-hmm.
For this conversation, I don't want to break the word unrequited down because it's the term unrequited love. It's the two words together.
Okay.
Okay. And in the definition, in the description, there's a definition for that term. And I'm speaking on the term, right? And I want to relate the term to an emotive
The
that
term
people,
of two words, but not the words. Okay. I'm
no,
trying to
it's a
follow.
term. It's a
Mhm.
term. That's two words. It's a term.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that it leads to actions. That's why I don't really want to get into the words. I'm concerned more about the emotives that drive people to do actual things.
Let's go back for a second if we could. I know I'm cutting you off, but I have to.
Well, okay. Well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Mhm.
Um, all right. So we do things a certain way here. So we don't have to do that. Let's just converse.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So
Okay.
in your situation specifically, right? Not that I'm going to act like oh, I know. So don't get me wrong, no disrespect, man.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point there was a two-way, right? So in those terms, because it's not a two-way now, and again, with no disrespect, man, and no like in any way like making it a menial situation. At that point, it has to work from the base. The base did have two at one point. Now it doesn't. So does that take away from what's already happened? Never. So in this case, of course, I do agree with you. Your specific situation is unrequited love because it already had a two-way street, which goes back to that. So we can say it's the definition of the words. I think that's easy to kind of put, or you can say, oh, it's not a word, it's a term because it's two words put together, and I get that too. But I think
It's
it
here.
undermines
Let's do this.
concept
Down in the
of what's being
description.
said if we don't want to look at the words that we're using to describe those concepts.
So
Yes.
wait, here in the description, here's what it says, right? Unrequited love or one-sided love is love that is not openly reciprocated or understood as such by the beloved.
Yes, I read it.
Okay, that's it. I
Yeah.
mean that's really I mean yeah. I mean like I said,
The thing is that I don't see how what I'm saying actually conflicts with that, but for some reason you do, and I'm curious to know why. Like, so I want to delve into that. I want to wash my hands, and
no.
I'm gonna leave.
The only thing I wasn't trying to do was get into like get okay. So when I do the
But you
sapio,
the complex.
what? No, I'm gonna explain to you. I was gonna.
You defined it in your definition, but you're
Yeah.
using that to say something different. Like, I'm here with you for a second. I'm gonna go wash my hands, so I'm gonna be out the room and I'm listening. So I'll just be right back. But please go on. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. I'm not really sure what I should say if you
No,
step
I mean,
away.
I'm just saying. Basically, if you say something and I don't say anything back, it doesn't mean that I'm not listening. It just means that I'm out of.
Oh, I didn't know if you want me just to like reply to you, but you're just gonna be listening.
No, 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 I'm just saying I'll be right back, but I'm still
Oh, okay.
listening.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So she's gonna step away and then she'll be back. Okay. So, let me see. What should I be saying? Because we're like in the middle of a conversation. Um, okay. Well, I guess I could just even like my own personal experience with regards to it, right? I guess what I'm communicating more or less here is it's either two way or one way, right? In my mind, it's pretty cut and dry, and then even by definition, it's kind of cut and dry. And I know how cut and dry it is because that moment that it goes from a two-way street to a one-way street, it hurts like a motherfucker, and you realize it's pretty much going to hurt you for a very long time, right? And it's kind of like the most gut punching form of it, right? So that's why for me, it's like it's there's not really too much to delve into with regards to it because when you deal with it from that aspect, it pretty much smacks you in the damn jaw. There's not much to there's not really much to analyze there. I mean, you take a wallop and you walk around in a daze for I don't shit. For me, it was a couple of years. You know what I mean? And the only thing you're really just trying to figure out here is how that one way street is going to work now. I guess maybe that's maybe where the intellectualization comes in, perhaps. Um, but it's like it in certain, and maybe perhaps what I should do um, is maybe listen to a different perspective of it. I think maybe from my perspective, it it was a long, harsh reality, right? Like an acceptance of a potential reality, and then when the reality happened, it was like a gut punch. Okay, and then you kind of barrel down on the ground, and you're down there, and then you kind of stand up, and then you kind of walk holding your stomach for a couple of years, and at a certain point, you're able to stand back up.
Hmm.
Okay,
I'm back.
but yeah, your stomach still hurts, right? Um, so I think my experience of it is rather brutal, actually,
Yes,
and I think that's the reason why. Um, and my apologies, real life, if I was kind of short, right?
unnecessary.
But
No,
but
you're
no,
good.
but it's because my experience of it is pretty fucking brutal,
I
right? And there's nothing to intellectualize about death.
Yeah, you got that right.
Okay. And so for me, it's just like, no, I could tell you about it. It's like, okay, they're here and then they're gone. And then the the person that was loving you back is not doing that anymore.
Yes.
Right? Just like that.
Yeah.
So it's a smack in the face.
Complex. I don't pretend to understand what you've gone through, but I can
No,
tell you.
you're good. You're good. I'm just trying to explain it in a way, maybe because like I said, I was thinking about it when you stepped away.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, if I kind of go back to the quotes, for example, there was one that I could readily relate, right, to.
Make some noise.
But then
Yo,
there's
Compatibility on the
other
bass.
aspects where it might be experienced differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's just what it was. I think for me, I just I can't intellectualize it from my experience.
No, I feel you, man. I
Right.
mean,
For mine I
we've
can.
lost
But yeah,
people,
yeah.
and like, I mean, the closest I could think to, not that you need to feel better, but the
No,
closest.
we're good. I mean, the only reason why I do these conversations is because I can talk about it. So you're good. We're good.
Yeah, I understand. You got all this like weird coronavirus stuff going on, right? So, the longest relationship I've ever had was about 8 years to date, right?
Hmm.
And he was somebody that I spent a lot of time with in my formative years, and he passed away just out of nowhere. And they said, "Oh, it's coronavirus," and
Oh
like
shit.
it was just kind of this thing where it's like, and I had actually, I was supposed to pick up the phone. He got called. I didn't pick up the phone, and I texted him back telling him why I didn't pick up the phone. I found out, what happened. And it was like, so there's this idea, of course we've all experienced the loss of loved ones, right? But it's something different when you've shared a love romantic experience with somebody who's no longer physically here. And I think that is very unique. Now, of course, he and I were not married, but I say this to say that even though I don't completely understand what you've gone through or what you're going through and will always go through to some extent, I do understand what it's like to have shared love with somebody who's no longer here. And it's extremely difficult, especially when that person just knows. Like, I don't want to get into that part, but let me just say that I don't mean to, and you don't have to owe me an apology about anything, although I thank you and I understand where you're coming from. So let me say this to you, right? I don't want you to think that in any way I'm undermining your definition of requited. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's run with that. I heard somebody who wanted to delve into something when I tuned in. That's what I heard. I heard you wanted to delve into something.
Well,
So
no, it's not my definition. It was the definition that I actually
whatever.
pulled.
Semantics. My point. My
It's
point.
not mine though.
That's conflict. Stop. My point is that you started out wanting to delve into something, so I jumped up on here. So let's delve into it. That's what I'm here for. Fuck all this other bullshit. We're still dancing around it. So let's get into the brass tacks.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so the ball's in my court. All right, so let's put it this way.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. Let's put it this way. So what happens when love is unrequited, right? Does that
Mhm.
change a person or not? Let's start there.
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Does it change a person?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Tell us more. Does it evolve? Does it sharpen? Does it hurt? Does it batter? Does it ruin? What does it do?
No, well, I think that was where I had to really kind of like backtrack what I was saying earlier and think about it. Because I think depending on the situation, it'll do different things. Now, are you asking like me personally, or because
Whatever.
when I start thinking about it, I don't think that like if people experience it differently, I don't think they'll get the same takeaways I got.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my takeaway is different than maybe like just other. You, like I said, the general scenario is somebody crushes on another person. That person doesn't particularly care for that person, and the person doing the crushing just kind of left there, feeling how they feel. Right. My situation is a little bit different. It really kind of changed my outlook on love and relationships and everything.
How so, and in what way specifically? So, for example, like, let's talk about the beginning of what you think might be burgeoning love. How did it change that? If you're willing to share.
Wait, repeat that. I'm sorry. Say that again.
It's okay. I was saying, so in the sense of changing, let's start with the beginning part of like burgeoning love. How do you think, or how has it changed that, if you're willing to share?
Well, uh, let's see here. Well, I haven't been in it again, right? And I think and I don't think that I have. I think I understand it. I think I understand it to where it's like I won't be in it anymore. I'll choose someone to love. That's pretty much what I'll do, right? I think I'm kind of beyond the being in love shit. I understand that it's a state. It's just a state of being,
So
right?
meaning that it's changeable, and does that make it like any less important to still experience
N-
repeatedly,
No,
or
no. Well, let's just say this, right? I loved my wife to completion,
yeah?
right? So I loved her at all stages of our relationship. So I know what that's all like, right? So what you don't do is you don't like reset and then go through the same thing as if you don't know what it's all about.
Right, right, right.
Okay, right? See, so there's a whole bunch of shit I can't play ignorant to. And because I just have a different understanding of like just the whole fucking relationship marriage thing. Like I've already done the death to us part thing,
Yeah.
right? So at this stage, it's me dealing with a woman like on whatever. It's all optional at this point. I have a daughter to raise. I got businesses to run. That's kind
But
of
shouldn't
where.
it always be that though?
What's that?
Did it always be like that though?
Be like what?
On some like, yo, I could just not do this at any time. Like, you know what I mean?
What
Like,
like what a
I'm
what a
here
what a
because I
wait?
want to be.
You mean like what a like in terms of like a relationship?
Yes, like I'm here because I want to be. I could say bye at any time. And, we're both here, not me and you. I'm just saying whoever's in a relationship are both here because we want to be. And if we decide for it not to be like that, because it could be because we've done this, because like that's it. Isn't that the best way to enjoy it? Because somebody's not there because they need to be. It's because they want to be and then need to be, not because they just need to be filled to fulfill some sort of hole or some
Mm-hmm.
sort of thing that they're going through. Like if you've reached the whole the most devastating aspect of what it means to be in love, if a person has experienced that, every time they are in that after that, it is only by choice. And
Well,
which is exactly what we were talking about earlier.
yeah, I mean, but I guess from my position on it, right, is that like okay, the marriage, my daughter, that everything was intentional, right, and like I didn't choose to be in this situation to begin with, right? Let's start there. I ain't choose this shit.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying like I didn't choose to be widowed or single, I should say, right? I'm
Understood.
not. I'm not single by choice.
Yes, 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 yes,
You
yes.
get what I mean?
Yes.
So, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, okay, so everything has had to kind of be like a readjustment or a reinvention. It was a everything basically.
Yeah.
Okay, with daughter in tow, new situation entirely. Never thought I'd be like a single dad.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I spent all my 20s like making money, in music and doing the music thing and all that shit, and specifically avoiding that situation of being a single father,
Yeah.
only to like do it all right, get married, have the child, do all, and then end up one, right? By no like decision of my own.
And
You know
that
what I
shit
mean?
hurts to even hear that. Yeah.
You're so it's kind of like I said, sometimes you're really you, you kind of what am I trying to say? You have to if you can take all that in without like losing your shit, right? Because a lot of people go through a lot of stuff and they never recover mentally. But if you can kind of take away from it all, right, and evolve as a person from the experience, you don't think and do things the way you used to. You don't view relationships with people the way you used to.
Yeah.
Okay, you learn to value people more
Mm-hmm.
because you understand how precious life actually is, right? And the person that you're talking to today may not be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
So your perspectives, your outlooks,
Yes.
everything changes.
Yes.
Okay, and
Yes.
so I don't see things the way most people do.
Yes.
All right, I don't see things the way the way most people do.
Can you tell us, because I feel you, and without trying to emotionally like drain you, what's the idea of what's the most important shit? Like, just let us know.
What do you mean emotionally drain me? I'm good. What's up? What do you mean?
What's the most important shit? Like, what's most important?
Be more specific. What do you mean? What's most important?
When
I
it
can.
comes down to sharing a relationship with a person, two people
Oh,
who are not attached together, who decided to be in love with each other, maybe create children, whatever. What are the
yeah,
most important things?
compatibility. You gotta be compatible with each other, man. You gotta be able to like peacefully coexist. If you can peacefully coexist with another, that means you can like basically be around the person, be comfortable, fart around the person, You do you whatever. I mean, I'm not saying fart around. You're comfortable doing it. I'm not saying you should. I'm sorry.
Listen,
I'm
women
trying to throw
don't
some
do
humor
that.
in it.
I
I'm
don't know
trying
what
to throw
you're
some
talking
humor in it,
about.
but
Okay,
I'm
women
just saying,
don't do that. I have no
you
idea.
guys, yeah, I know women don't fart, they fluff.
Right?
I get it.
We just don't have these issues, right?
Yeah.
Right?
No. The point is compatibility.
Yes.
Okay, people choose, and okay, and this kind of ties into the unrequited love thing because again, people will kind of develop or have strong feelings for someone for some reason that's not returning them back,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Versus if you're dealing with the compatible thing, that means that you kind of feed one another. So like there were times where shit, I could be up in my room all goddamn day and not be around my wife for the whole day. And we were fine. Like just she down there, she reading or doing what she's doing. I'm upstairs working on music or whatever. And it wasn't a problem to be away. And then there were other times where we would literally just be in the bed all day.
Hmm.
Okay. Either way, we were compatible. That was the thing. We were compatible. And so I always speak to compatibility above all else.
Yeah, I've said that for the past pretty much like 12 years. Yeah, that has to be there. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Complex. So when it comes down to preoccupying people's times and having something to do you find that after knowing what love is and having your very particular situation with the, and I don't want to say loss, but it is a loss. I always feel like people are always still around us. That's why I don't like to use the word loss. But
Yeah.
let's use
Yeah.
it to not undermine what's really happened, which is the
Yeah.
hurt. Do you feel that there's still space after that for people to still have a preoccupation of time and say, well, companionship and da da da, or do you think that that just kind of goes out the window because you realize like no?
Uh, I mean, I think it's an individual thing. Now, I have a daughter, right?
Right.
And so when my daughter was like, okay, when she started going to preschool,
Hmm.
okay, I get her up in the morning, and we would do this thing every morning, right? Get her up, and she gets up, and the first thing she does, she'll hug me. I gotta hold her, and I just rock her a little bit, and she would she would tell me one or two things. Either she would say, I miss mommy, or I want a new mommy.
Yeah.
Okay. So as she's gotten older, she's 9 now. Okay. The only thing she's ever done was really just reiterate to me that she does not want me to be alone. Okay. Because now at 9, she'll say, Daddy, when are you going to get a lady friend? She doesn't say, I want a new mommy. She says, Daddy, when are you going to get a lady friend?
Yeah.
Right. That's what she says to me now.
Yeah.
So I think for my child's sake, right? For my child's sake, I'm open to companionship. Me personally, like, let's just say if my wife and I didn't have a child,
Yeah.
right? I'd say right now, who knows what the fuck I'd be doing.
And that's about the most perfect, honest answer I could have gotten from that question. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
who knows? If I didn't have a child, who knows what the fuck I'd be doing right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Understood completely. That was very clear.
Yeah.
How
So
old
I'm,
are
yeah,
you or around? Are you in your 30s, 40s, 20s?
40s. I'm 43.
Me too. I'm 43, 1977.
Yep. 77. Leo.
Okay. Yeah, it gets deep. You know what's interesting about our generation too? A lot of people haven't procreated. Do you know how many people I went to high school with who don't have kids, who haven't gotten married? It's very interesting.
Yeah, I only have one, and like I said, if it wasn't her, I wouldn't have any right now.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I was big on just, I don't know. There's things that I always wanted to do in life, and so it was kind of like, unless I met a chick who was like, who thought like the shit that I was trying to do was just dope and wanted to just go along for the ride,
Hmm.
then I wasn't going to consider anyone.
Right.
right? And so, yeah, man, that's kind of how it happened.
You know what though too? I think there's still room for that to always be the case. And I think that it reminds me of two things, right? One is what are standards, right? But then I was reading something earlier today on some. I don't know if you know this bullshit ass site, Media Takeout. Do you know this dumbass site?
You said media takeout.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, some bullshit ass site. Okay, so they had an article today about Halle Berry and how, oh, she can't keep a man and how dare she break up with this bitch ass, gay ass nigga. Okay, fine. But what was funny to me, or I should say interesting and noteworthy at the least, is that everybody from the perspective of the article and the people in the comments, right?
Hmm.
Um, they kept blaming her. So okay, Halle Berry is obviously a beautiful woman, and she's had a lot of high profile relationships. She has, two beautiful kids, but for some reason, everybody decided to say, when it came to that article in the comments and from the perspective saying, why can't she keep a man? I thought that was interesting because I said, well, couldn't it be something about her? Maybe if somebody has a certain standard, and I'm using this example because I'm taking it from your standard. If
Hmm.
you know what love is, but it's just not that situation anymore for reasons that you cannot control, right?
Hmm.
You decide that you will work from that. And I thought about this and I said, why isn't anyone saying that maybe she just figures, this is how she wants it to be. And if she can't find it that way, she gets to be from a position to say, no, thank you. Right. Not necessarily because of tragedy or because of hurt, but maybe because of just, this is my position in life. But those are the same things, right? Circumstances are positions in life. The same thing. It's just about how it's doled out. And I think that that perspective is very interesting. And I noticed that a lot of people tend to think that if somebody has not done certain things, that it's because they couldn't help but to do so. It can't be because of choice, right? Very seldom do people say, well, that must be their choice. And that bothers me, and it's unfortunate that it takes, like, somebody thinking like, well, it's only because they know something from, and I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about anybody who's coming from a place who really doesn't know.
Well,
I think that very few people have
yeah.
experienced love, so they're coming from a place of what if, or if I was to, then this is how I would do it type of shit. But people get to say no, thank you, and throw something away or turn away from it, even if they've come from a position where they get to do that. And in a
Well,
situation where you know it, you can.
but check this out. I mean, I guess well, here's what I always thought was interesting is that, and this is just an observation. What people typically do is they'll take like the celebrity example, right? I, so like for someone like a Halle Berry, right? Like if you just look at her track record of men, right? I'm just kind of I'm just like just I, okay. I guess my question is that what am I supposed to intrinsically think that Halle Berry is actually relationship material because she's Halle Berry?
No, but
Okay,
because
so
I'm
then
in that
okay,
position, it's the same position as somebody who has the same amount of choices in real time that people
yeah,
don't look at as the same way.
I know, but I'm saying, but like, see somebody like, okay, can it be possible that Halle Berry just absolutely sucks at relationships?
See, that's what I mean. You ask those people, like, I guess, but I'm
Okay,
thinking of it as, how do you look at a situation insofar as who is the one to say no, thank you, or not, right? And it's because of who's most coveted, right? Now, if you've been in a situation where you have no choice but to say this is what it is, so everything else is going to have to either be great or fuck it, right?
mm-hmm.
That's the same thing as a celebrity. You know what I mean? The same thing, the idea of like, hey, I get to take my pick of the choice. Like, it's this or it's that, or I don't want it. They get to say that.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I guess the difference, though, I guess the difference here is that I don't approach it like a celebrity.
oh no,
I,
no, no. I mean, not, no, 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 no.
well, no,
Please
because
understand. Hold on.
celebrities
Hold on. I
typically
want to make,
have.
wait, I want to make sure I'm understood here.
Mhm.
Not to put you in a bracket of that way, right? The reason why it reminded me of that is because the idea of standards and what people are supposed to have in front of them and what they choose, right? What they can choose. And very seldom do people hold themselves to high standards unless they've been in a situation where they get to say, this is what I like, this is what I think is perfect, and this is what I don't think is. And very often, that coveted sort of bracket in society, aka a celebrity example, kind of reflects that. Go ahead, though. I'm listening.
Well, I was gonna say. I mean, I don't. I guess. Well, look. If your goal or your objective in relationships is to just go through them, then I guess you're successful. And if that is your objective, and that is your marker of success, then I won't say that she's horrible at relationships.
Hmm.
Now, my understanding of a relationship is that you go through all that kind of shit in the hopes of that, you're going to be with this person for a long time, right? So, in my head, I don't know, the mark of a person who is in a successful relationship is the longevity, and not only the longevity,
Wow.
well, not only the longevity, but the quality of it. Okay, there's not just the people they've been together for years, but they're miserable, right?
Most
And
people, right?
well, I mean, that sucks to be
Yeah, it's
them,
the majority.
right? But the reality, though, is that that's the mark of a successful relationship. So just from an outsider's perspective, and the other thing I wanted to say this too is celebrities are like a horrible example. And I'm not saying this to you,
No, I understand what you're saying.
because
In
what
real things.
people do, what we as general regular ass people do, is we're always looking at celebrities,
Hold on.
right?
Hold on. Stop right there.
Well,
Stop right
but I'm gonna lose this thought.
there. Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so shit. Wait,
You lost it.
hold on. Let me see if I can get it back.
Celebrity is a terrible example.
Okay, yeah. When you're just I'm gonna make a little joke here. When you're just average at best human, okay, who just has average at best or regular, okay, you're not doing extraordinary shit. You're like most people. You're just regular, but in that celebrity realm, they all kind of cycle through relationships and they date each other and other people consistently all the time. Nothing that celebrities do, in my view, just being around in the industry and all that kind of stuff, is indicative of anything that would reflect successful relationships. If anything, it's just like a carousel. Okay, and then what happens is that people on the ground are always kind of contextualizing how they're engaging in relationships based on what they're seeing celebrities do and post on Instagram and all this other shit.
You explained it better than I could, and I'm so glad you said that. Let me tell you why. This is exactly why I brought that up, because I think that am I cutting you off?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. I think that if a person's been put in a situation where they can, which is why I preface this with that, right? Where they can't help but to look at something in a very, this is what I consider perfected and this is what I don't kind of a way. That's exactly akin to that, right? This is exactly why that reminded me of. So thank you for putting it that way. So it goes back to the main question. If you have a certain standard, right?
Hmm.
If a person is considered coveted in some sort of way in society, there's a certain standard that they're going to hold themselves up to. I think it's very similar to somebody who has known love, right? And who knows what that is. And it's not just like looking as catch can, trying to find
Yeah.
it, hoping, desperate, all this other shit,
Yep.
because there's this whole list of things that they get to choose from. That's the same thing as having a situation such as what you've discussed, that you've had love, right? So this is exactly what brings me to that thought, which is, I thought I was clear about that. I'm sorry if I wasn't.
No, you're good. You're good.
So my question there is that when you know what something is and you get your choice, of course you're only going to grab something if you want it, right? Which
Hmm.
to me makes it more important if you say yes to something, right? Which unfortunately it does take these types of situations to kind of understand that, because if a person hasn't really found that, and I hate to use the word lost, but let's use that, lost it,
Hmm.
then they can sort of give room for some old bullshit, right? But when that has happened, you're not going to leave room for things that you don't truly want to have. You're going to be like, listen, no, bitch, you know what I mean? Or whomever, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I've experienced. Who the
Oh,
fuck are you? Like, what are you going to bring
well,
me?
no, I'm gonna tell you, it's not even that, man. It's really just kind of a um Well, number one, put it like this: you change as a person, right? So when you go through okay, when you go through something traumatic or something like that, it kind of well as a I'll just give you my own personal take. Okay, so I'm a bit more stoic. Okay, like I kind of carry myself a bit
This is what
different.
I'm trying to get to, right?
Yeah.
What's the deciphering part and why? Like, what basically what's corny and why? And what's all the like, yeah, go with that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just that you understand the full cycle of life. So you don't. That's why I'm like, okay, when you say in love, and that I just explained, I'm like, okay, no, that's just a state of being, but it's not something that you are always in when you're with a person. When you love a person, you're not. That's like it's kind of it's like an endorphin release. It's a feeling. It's a high, right? And
Yep.
then there's the other part, right? And then there's the prospect of losing the person and then never having or seeing them ever again. And then you get black pilled as fuck to the nature, the ugly nature of life.
You
When you
mean
have a
for being a
daughter,
nihilist?
I
Black
mean,
pill is like being a nihilist.
huh?
I'm still trying to understand black pill. Is that like being a nihilist or
No, I mean, look, I'm using it colloquially. I'm not using it in the manosphere context,
I don't
right?
even know what the context is, man. I mean, does that mean just like sort of a disenchantment with life? Or
No, no, it just means acceptance of it.
oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, it just acceptance of the brutal truth,
Understood.
right? And like I said, acceptance of the brutal truth is like waking my daughter up every morning for school and her telling me that she misses her mommy or that she wants a new one,
Hmm.
right? What do I tell her?
I don't know.
Right? There's nothing. There. What it's for me to accept it,
Yes.
right? There's nothing for me to kind of
Yeah,
respond with. It's for me to accept.
yeah, got you.
Daddy, I miss my mommy. What do I'm going to do? Go on a 5 minute soliloquy about her feelings
Uh-huh.
to her? No, it's like, no, she's conveying to me how she feels. She wakes up in the morning and misses her mommy,
Yeah.
right? And it's for me to own that. I just gotta, like, yeah, I do too, babe. That's basically what I used to tell her. I do too, babe. You know, um, but I'm just saying, you don't return back to some ignorant state of being. Well, the hope is number one, every day that you get up, you're trying to be in a better state than you were the day before. And every year that goes by, you're trying to be in a better state than you were the year before. Right? So if we're on a constant ascendant state of improvement for ourselves, like just, shit, physically, spiritually, mentally, everything, then you'll start to like just get smarter about life, make smarter decisions, not do so much dumb shit,
Yeah.
right? You're not going to repeat shit over and over and over. But again, we're going back to this whole
The
unrequited love thing.
standards. Yes.
Thank you. Okay,
Right.
that's what I mean. This should be tying in. Like
Right.
every time when I be doing these live streams and shit, this shit all ties in.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and it's like at a certain point, you don't. I don't think the same way about love at 43 than I did at 23.
Right.
Okay, at 23, I thought something completely different about this shit. And I'm saying in that 20-year period, I've been through so much shit. I think completely different about it now.
Yes.
So I won't quote unquote fall in love.
Yeah.
Over time, there will be a like here's how the scenario plays out nowadays. Nowadays, how it will work is I meet someone, and over a period of time, we really become friends and get to know each other to the point where this person like understands how I think and is cool with my quirks and all that type of shit, and vice versa. And if we get to that point, then we'll talk. Then I can consider. You know, incorporating that person into my life. Nowadays, it's a conscious decision. You
Hmm.
don't fall in love. Not at this stage, no.
Yeah.
You don't fall in love. No, you choose to love someone.
And that's if something has already happened to be conducive to you being able to choose it, which would be great, right? Which is seldom, but it would be great.
Wait.
So,
I'm sorry. It went out just a little bit. Say that again.
oh, I was saying, yeah, but at the same time, like some people might hear what you're saying as to say, like you choose it for what, right? But there have to be certain things in place that would even make you want to choose it, right? So, I guess I didn't really think about it like this until what you just said a couple minutes ago, well, about 2 minutes ago, which is that there's this elevation of standards that sometimes are forced upon us or just are, right?
Hmm.
Due to social circumstance, which is why the celebrity thing was brought up in the first place. Because I akin of forced, which are things like death and life, right? That's forced upon us,
Hmm.
right? That's a hiring of standards, though. Your standards automatically would raise because of what you've been through, which is why I associated to that social kind of standard hierarchy with dumbass celebrities, right? Like, I'd be the last one to worship celebrities, but I understand how people think, right?
Right.
I bring this up in the idea of why automatically the blame went on her. I was trying to make a longer point. I think maybe it might have taken a little more patience to make the point, but I think at the end it all kind of came out. The standards elevate, and that's the important part, right? Because I think that is only going to be where you experience true love. And if people's standards, by definition of just being on the earth a certain amount of time short, or just having a certain kind of attenuated expectancy about what they're supposed to get, bullshit, right? Then they're gonna have step. But as time goes on, age, whatever it is, circumstance, tragedy, those types of things kind of bring somebody to say, or celebrity, however you want to look at it, get to put people in a bracket where they say, you know what, I get to choose what I consider to be the highest of standard. And if that's not what I want, then I won't be okay with that. That's a beautiful thing.
It's
And
nothing. There's nothing wrong with that. But I have a question. What you
sure,
said? You said true love.
yes.
What is that?
What is that?
What is
It's
that?
funny that you mentioned compatibility because I've often said that way before I've ever come on YouTube. It has to have something to do with that. True love means that I can actually still be happy with, well, let me speak for myself. I can actually still be happy with life and share that with another person. So that's another way of saying that, right?
Okay.
I didn't come into this earth attached to anybody, but for some reason I feel like I am attached to that person. That type of thing.
Okay. No, I was
Simple.
just yeah. No, I was just curious. Because yeah, because like if I hear those terms, like I hear a term like that, and I'll think something like short and simple, right? And then somebody else will have like a huge
List. Yes.
right. And so I
Like,
was just
calm down,
curious,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me it's just I think it's like I think it's just what it is just pure, right? So
Yeah.
like for example, the love that I have for my daughter is true,
Yes.
okay, because it's pure, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always kind of curious, like, okay, is this like a is this like this whole thing, or is it just kind of like a simple kind of like a this is what it is?
Well, complex. It depends on who you ask. And
That's what I
sometimes,
know, and that's why I was asking you, because I was
right?
saying for me, I know like if somebody like says that it's real short and simple, I know what it is, right?
Yeah.
Because the first thing I'm gonna think is my my baby cakes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm already gonna know, like, yeah, I know what that is, right? And
Absolutely.
then other people, you'll ask them a question, and then you know what happens? They'll tilt their head up, and then they'll like look into the sky, and then they'll start just talking.
Right. I think we got to hike in the mountains, and if she doesn't breathe about a
I mean,
thousand,
it just
like,
starts
because they're
going and
still trying to
going
find
and
themselves.
going and
You
going.
know
You're
what I'm
like,
saying? Like,
wow,
people
this
are
is
trying to define themselves through this person, and they don't want to tell you that because they don't even know that themselves. If you ask me in my older age, that's how I think. That's what I think they're saying, and I'm not trying to diss them. It just is. I mean,
no,
like,
it's just
because it's really not that serious,
yeah. That's what sometimes I'm like, wow, okay, keep
right?
going, keep going.
Right.
There's a lot to
No
this.
wonder. You know
Wow.
what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, because look, you know what? Oftentimes I feel as though, and I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna have to run to the little boys' room, because because I gotta go to the little boys' room.
I
But
actually have to run in a minute, so I don't want to make it seem like if you leave and I have to leave, it's
no,
that.
if you have to run, then okay. Well, then let's just do this. It's coming up on an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay.
Perhaps I should just shut it down. Perhaps. Silence.
I didn't realize it was like a.
No, I
I was
was saying like because
like,
you're gonna be taking off, right? You gotta go.
in about 5 minutes I have to go. But since you said you had to run to the bathroom, I didn't want to be like if I had to go in that time frame. I didn't want to seem like it was disjointed or like I was being rude. So I was just.
No, no, no. We're good. We're good. So here's what we'll do. I'll go ahead and shut it down now since you got to go, and then I got to. I have you literally have to go, and I figuratively have to go.
Right.
So
You also biologically have to go.
biologically have to go.
Right.
Oh my god, dude, why am I so stupid? All right. Well, okay. Hey, I appreciate you for coming up here.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice talking to you.
Of course,
Talking
of
with you.
course. You're welcome anytime. Do you have any last thoughts on just anything, the conversation, or yeah, anything?
Let's see. Yeah, I do. Let me try to sum them up very briefly. I would like
Okay.
to say that I think that I want to reiterate why I felt so compelled to jump up here. When I first heard you playing the music and speaking, I heard somebody who was speaking
Which
so.
I botched, by the way,
No, you didn't.
folks.
Stop, stop. That's
Shit.
exactly what I was trying to say before. Like, it's very rare that I hear people speaking up here that make me feel like, yeah, let's keep going with this. Like, jump into that. Like, jump all the way into it. And this is, I've said before, and I'm going to say it again. I've been on your panel, I think, once before, and it was the most normal human panel that I've ever been on YouTube. And clearly, y'all were talking about cars, which I knew nothing about, right?
Yeah, that's right. You did. You came
Right,
on there. We were talking about car. You came on a car talk. That's right. You
right.
did. Yeah. Yeah. We were
And
just talking cars.
y'all were complete human beings, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that, and I love that, and I thank y'all for being you. Shout out to you, shout out to Mike, and that's it. Next
All
time I
right.
come live, if I can join the panel, I will.
Heck yeah. I was just gonna say, I'm doing these. Usually I do these every night because that's when I have like the time to do them.
Mhm.
So if I don't, yeah, you're free to join the panel. Yeah.
Thank you. And also run wild with it. Like you have a lot of cool things to say and what you were saying in the beginning, like you got caught up in the botching of the music, which I know how it is. And
Oh
a lot of
shit. Yeah. That's just me being a douche. That's all.
no, I get it. But like y'all have a lot to offer and y'all are smart and I think that anything you want to say, clumsy or not, I don't think it's clumsy, but even if you do, keep running with it and say whatever you need
I
to say. I
appreciate
want to
you.
hear it. All right?
Yeah, no, that's just look. I have a tendency to just do that sometimes. If I like, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist. It's just that like I don't like to screw up. So I don't
I
know if that's like a weird way of saying I'm a perfectionist, but I screwed up and then I was just like, ah. But don't worry about it. The next one. Oh wait, you have to go. I was just gonna say. I think the next one. I forgot. I had the topic, but whatever.
Well,
Yeah,
listen, if
just
I'm here, I'll
yeah.
definitely be here. Like, if I
Yeah,
get the
yeah, that's what I'm
opportunity
saying.
to
Just roll
record
through.
YouTube, absolutely.
Okay. All
Keep
right. Hey,
doing
well,
y'all
we're
thing.
live.
Much love to you, Complex, and keep it going.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, love. Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you next time, and thank you.
All righty. All
Peace.
right, folks. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. I appreciate Miss Real Life for joining me here. Share this with folks that dig this kind of shit, and I'll be back tomorrow morning with the Black Car Talk cannabis live streams because yeah, today was a wholesale botch. So my bad, y'all. All right, y'all have a good night. Peace.